2, 1.
Blast off!
Yeah, I'm editing that in. Hey everyone, this is No Artificial Flavors, and we're doing a discussion video today about the newly released Yooka Laylee. So it's going to be a 3D platformer made by Platonic Games. Just a basic description. It's about a chameleon and a bat. What's you two's first impressions of it?
It kind of looks like a kid's game, but fun.
Yeah, it definitely looks like it's going to be fun.
That's a start.
Yeah. When you first saw it, what was your actual words?
I genuinely thought it was going to be sort of the main story was you could complete it in a couple of days, but yeah.
You know, you're so literate and articulate with your words.
So, Charlotte, what do you think of the game?
So much money. I can't get my head around how much people have put into this, but the game looks really good, actually.
Yeah, it does look nice. It looks very polished. I suppose I should explain. It's been put up as a Kickstarter campaign. So it's a newly built company. They don't have a lot of funding, so they put it forward on here, and it got funded incredibly fast. They reached their goal, 175,000 in 40 minutes, and within a day it was over 1 million. And they keep making more and more stretch goals. It kind of shows how much demand there is for this game.
At point of recording, it's £1.3 million. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I mean, it blew me away how much it did get, because the biggest other game that's kind of been on a Kickstarter recently, well, I say recently, it was probably about a year back now, Mighty Number 9, that didn't get anywhere near that support. In fact, I'll look that up now for comparison.
Yeah, but what I think about this game is because it's a new game, obviously the graphics are going to look amazing, and they better do for £1.3 million.
Yeah.
But I honestly think people are going to play it more with the N64 shaders.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a point to bring up actually. Thanks for that. They're going to add old N64 shaders into the game as kind of like a retro look to it. I suppose it's a nice thing to put in, but it seems a shame that it would be there and people would want to use it when there's so much effort being put into these shining graphics. I mean, what they've shown us is 3 months worth of work with very little funding. Imagine how good this can look by the end of the development cycle.
Dang.
So we've got our 2 protagonists, which are a bat and a chameleon, and what the developers have said is they want to work from their natural abilities, and they've said the chameleon will be able to use its tongue, and the bat obviously can fly. Do you think there's any other different abilities or gameplay mechanics they could draw from that?
They must be able to have sonar or something. Surely that'd be quite cool.
I was going to say, I'm just having a look on a forum now.
All right.
And it's three attacks, just to start off with. So you've got the tongue whipping and the sky soaring, but you've also got sonar blasting.
Boom.
Oh, okay, so that's a confirmed thing.
Ooh, what a prediction.
That's on the Kickstarter page.
Okay. That's good then. So another thing I was thinking is, since this is kind of like a classic style collectathon game, I imagine there'd be quite a lot of mini games in the main game, and I was thinking there's probably a lot they can do there. Imagine having Yooka at the bottom of the screen and Laylee at the top of the screen in kind of like a 2D setting, and like he dropped fruits that would then have to be caught by him.
Oh, right.
Like, I think they could incorporate different elements like that, because you've got... I don't know, I think there's a lot of potential there, especially for mini games, but also in the main gameplay and combat as well.
Okay. But if you were doing... So go on.
No, I was just going back to the moves. I'll read this directly from the Kickstarter page. It says, additionally, there may or may not be a more involving a giant fart bubble.
Oh.
Right. That's the thing.
That's,
That
I don't think I've heard something like that since Oddworld Abe's Exodus.
Oh,
But
that's amazing.
obviously we know that was an amazing game, and that was a hilarious mechanic that I love to use. Do you think maybe Yooka would be able to use his tongue like a grapple? Like could go onto hooks in a similar way to Rayman and swing?
I
Maybe.
presume so. Do you think, like, if they incorporated that, do you think that the bat would be more of sort of, it doesn't fly as such when it's got hold of Yooka, but more glides?
Yeah.
From what I've seen, he seems to have a very limited flight, and that makes sense because he is a smaller creature. But in terms of gameplay, obviously, you wouldn't be able to just have a free-flying bat.
Yeah.
But having that glide in this, I'd imagine it'd be a similar way to Spyro's glide.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit heavier.
Yeah. What do you think about the soundtrack?
I have to say, there's been only two tracks that's been released, but I think it sounds absolutely amazing. As soon as I heard it, it just brought back Donkey Kong Country, Banjo-Kazooie. It's very of that era.
Yeah.
They have got the same musical composers. One guy called Grant Kirkhope. He's absolutely amazing. I'll put him on a pedestal. He's he's great.
I take it then that basically what I've seen from this game is what they're trying to do is just they're basically making a game from the era of Donkey Kong, but they're modernising it, so they're making it look better, but still keeping the retro styled gameplay.
Yeah, the gameplay is retro at its core. But I'd say one of my biggest concerns with that is they've said it's going to be like a collectathon game. And back in that day, there were a lot of good collectathons and a lot of bad collectathons. Like Banjo-Kazooie was up there as one of the best on the N64. But at the same time, there's Donkey Kong 64, which was the game they'd made prior to that. And that's considered one of the worst collectathons because they put too much focus on just collecting all these things across the world, and there just wasn't enough fun in it.
Right.
So I'm really hoping they can find that gameplay balance.
Yeah, because they have added they're like coins, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With like the weird blue triangles.
They have. They did say our new collectibles are work in progress, so I don't know whether that'll be a finalised design or whether that's just a placeholder, because I think that's actually the logo for Playtonic Games, like the play symbol and the blue and gold. So I think that might be just them putting their mark on it while they don't have a definitive design.
Yeah.
Okay.
The world, is it going to be sort of structured where you've got to follow a certain path, or is it an open world, or are they going to make it a bit of both?
I'd say if it's anything like the games of that genre, it's going to be one big open world. I mean, I think it'll be split up into its stages.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling it'll be coherent. And it's large, and obviously a collectathon needs exploration.
Because... Sorry, go on.
Yeah, go on.
Reading through the Kickstarter, it does mention that the currency that you collect can be used to unlock the worlds and expand them, but also that you can just kind of ignore that and spend it elsewhere, so you don't have to do all the expansion stuff.
Mm.
And
that's
so there is some element of build
because
your
I think
own.
like that was like nothing in that they ever required for you to collect everything. Like I think the original Super Mario 64, it had 120 stars, but I think to beat Bowser you only needed 80.
Okay.
So I have a feeling it's going to be of that nature, in a similar way to Mario 64, Jack and Daxter, that kind of thing. But yeah, the world, if you can unlock new levels with your coins, that's a very interesting thing, and maybe that can be like an alternate loop around, so you could avoid one level, but go into another.
What do you think the arcade machines?
What's that?
It's basically there's in each world there's at least one secret arcade machine, and so it hides like an old school style. I think they're more mini game sort of things.
Oh, like you were talking about earlier then.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it says here that there's hidden arcade machines. So I don't know whether you can use the coins for that.
That would make sense. And it says complete its retrotastic challenge to claim your pagey.
Yeah, that's the currency. Which is a weird word, but okay. Let's go with it.
Okay.
You see, I'm wondering, you know, like you were talking about with your little idea for a minigame earlier, where you have one dropping a fruit to the other.
Yeah.
Who would you control in that situation? Because that would kind of define who you're actually playing as, rather than playing as both of them.
Ooh, that's actually a very interesting point, because that's always like a debate in these games. Who are you really playing as? Like, because in Banjo-Kazooie, a lot of people said like it was kind of Kazooie that was responsible for everything, and Banjo was just kind of a bit of a pack mule for him.
Right.
And like you've seen that you're walking around as Yooka, but then there's other sections where like you're rolling as Yooka, but Laylee's kind of rolling him, like standing on top of him and rolling him as a ball.
Oh, right.
It sounds like I know you're gonna hate this, but new games. This is coming out as a new game, obviously.
Yeah.
So you've got the new. You're gonna hate me, but let's take GTA 5 for example.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I'll tell you out on this one.
They brought in the ability to character switch. Do you think they'll implement something like that so you can they don't assign you to a character. You can feel free to switch at any time. So you don't know who's supposed to solve the puzzles, sort of thing.
Okay, I have a few opinions on that. The first one is I feel that you will be controlling both of them simultaneously. But I think there could be sections where you control one, like say it could be like probably not in this setting, but something akin to an event where you'd put in Laylee and just control him. I don't know if you ever played the Simpsons game, but there's like a section where you play as Marge, but you'd get to a vent and you'd crawl around in it as Maggie.
Oh, right.
Okay. I think something like that could be incorporated into it.
Yeah.
And I was also thinking maybe if there were separate character control, I think that could probably come under local co-op.
Yeah. So are you saying then that there's bound to be a sort of local co-op in it then?
I don't think there's bound to be, because then they will have to have these two characters very individual.
Yeah.
That'd be very annoying as well, playing with... Because if you need to fly over a gap, imagine trying to coordinate that, running up and then...
See, I think they could do it, and they could learn from Sonic the Hedgehog 4.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah, because in that, you play separately, but then one of you can hit a button, and you'll both go back to each other to be able to do your combination move.
Ah.
So, I think also, same could be said for comparing it to Donkey Kong Country Returns, which actually wasn't a Rare game, because when Rare became a Microsoft subsidiary, it was Retro Studios that took over the Donkey Kong Country series. I still think Playtonic can learn from that. But yeah, I think when you're controlling Diddy and Donkey together, like in single player, he'll just be like a jetpack to you, but you can play them as two very individual characters in local co-op. So I think it could work similar to that, or there could just be no co-op. But there was another interesting thing I read. There'd be 3D and 2.5D minecart sections in each world.
Right.
Minecart sections are a staple to the Donkey Kong Country series. They're infuriatingly difficult levels, I can say that. But they're really fun, and if they are anything like Donkey Kong Country levels, then I am really happy that they'll be in it.
The enemies in it.
They look interesting.
I was going to say, this is the point where when you're editing, you put one of the enemies up against a raving rabbit.
Oh god.
Okay, I can see it. I think another, like when I look at the character in conjunction with the enemies, another game it screams to me, and as well as the environments as well, they tie into this as well. It screams Skylanders.
Yeah, I was thinking that. It's just...
It's got that kind of style to it.
Yeah.
And that is a style that I think is really nice. It looks good. It has good worlds and interesting enemies. Very cartoonish, but it suits it.
I mean, as far as I've seen, the world it's all outside.
Yeah, and it all seems very natural as well.
Yeah.
Do you think there'd be any... Like, I'm not saying that there's probably not going to be big industry, but do you think there would be, like, maybe rural area?
Or like temples, sort of.
Yeah, I can imagine temple and dungeon crawling being part of the game. I could also imagine small towns, because, like, if you've got these collectibles and... You know, currency. I'd imagine there'd be some exchange there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because as far as I've seen, it's a mound of islands.
Yeah.
Rather than just a flat world, which sort of adds a bit more depth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a really rich world.
It seems like, because when you've got any kind of like flying or gliding mechanic, you got to make it interesting to get around. So they've made it very. Yeah,
because you'll have your high ledges, you'll have crossing bodies of water. Actually, I definitely think there will be dungeon crawling on it, because if you go down a few pictures, it kind of looks like you're hopping about on very ruin-like stones.
Yeah, with the torches.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just looking at that.
So I think that could indicate that you're perhaps close to a temple. Like, it reminds me of on the original Crash Bandicoot, the level Sunset Vista.
Don't remember that.
No.
Okay. I'm very seasoned with my classic Bandicoot, so sorry about that one. So the next stretch goal, they've said, for 1.5 million is a full orchestral score. What do you think? Yeah. I think this kind of style of music could really work well with it. I mean, I love full orchestral scores. I think probably one of the best examples of how amazing music can be is Super Mario Galaxy 2. I don't know if you've ever heard any of the soundtrack for that, but it's so rich and vibrant.
I think you linked that at one point, actually.
Yeah. That was... I mean, that orchestra is absolutely massive. They had hundreds of people performing simultaneously with their different instruments, and it created an amazing product. And I think if they can get this little extra funding, then that would really make it something else.
I've just been looking on here, and to me it looks more than there's obviously different tasks you've got to accomplish, whether it be like set out levels or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But it looks more like rather than completing the level, you've got to collect these coins.
Yeah.
You've got to collect a certain amount of these coins rather than completing the level.
Hmm.
So,
See, I don't know whether, like, there'll be a differentiation in coins. Like, you'll have them kinds of coins, which are very common, but then you'll have your major collectible coin, like your plot MacGuffin. Where let's say there'd probably be like, like Super Mario 64, there'd be like 7 in a level or whatever, and each one would be its different task. One might be solving a puzzle, one might be beating a boss, another is a mini game, another is collect X amount of this. I think it would probably work like that.
hmm.
That sounds quite good, actually.
So you've got to sort of accomplish multiple things to move on.
Yeah. So what do you want to see from this game? Like, what's your biggest expectation of it?
I don't really have much kind of. I'm not looking for much in terms of like plot or anything, because it looks just happy and bright and.
Yeah, honestly, I'd love for them to keep plot minimal.
Yeah.
It looks like one of those games that you can just come home to, just sit there and just get on with it. You know, you don't sort of have to really listen in to understand the plot. It's
Pick
just
up and play.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You can-
definitely.
Just bounce around for a bit in like a really, really bright world with your thingamadob and your other thingamadob. Bat and a chameleon, there we go.
Yeah. Let's just call it Rango.
Rango.
Rango. Yeah. See, this is going to sound really off, but what do you think the save feature will be like? Do you think it'll be a quick save, or do you think it'll be a level only?
I think it will be. I think you'll have designated save points that you can save at, and I also think it will be a save for every MacGuffin you collect.
Yeah.
Like a lot of them, like back to Mario. I feel like it's one of the best examples to compare for this genre of game, of 3D Mario games. Is every time you collect a power star, you get given the ability to save. I think it would work like that. I doubt there'd be a quick save.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems a bit strange for that genre, especially if it's going retro.
Yeah. I just hope it doesn't like have some really stupid saving mechanics like when I think of really bad saving in a game, it always has to come back to Majora's Mask. But I don't think it will play out like that. So what's your biggest concern with the game? Like, well, not concern with it now, but like what you really don't want to see it become.
See, what I'm gonna think is they're making sort of all this publicity for it. They're raising this much money, and then I think they're gonna face the problem of it might not be up to the standards everyone's been sort of getting hyped about with all the money that's gone into it.
That is a big concern, but I think they are two things they are doing which I feel is counteracting that very well. The stretch goals of what they're adding, they're very clearly defining them, and the reward, what they're going to add to the game, are really cool. And the second thing I think is, they are giving people good rewards for what they do donate.
Yeah.
So if someone's donated £15 like me, and they get a digital release on console, then I've not just put forward money to the development of it. I've got my game as well. So that's a new Wii U game for £15.
And you can't complain at that.
Yeah, that's really budget stuff. So I don't think anybody can turn around and say that it was overpriced.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the top rewards are really good. I mean, like, the very top, you get to be a voice actor for the game. I mean, that's some people's dream.
Yeah.
Well,
and you can see why it racked up money.
yeah.
Oh god, yeah.
You know, we were talking about the co-op earlier.
Yeah.
I've just had a look, and for 535,000, one of the early ones, it says that a local co-op buddy mode will be implemented.
So yeah, I think that would probably be like
Yeah,
what another person controlling Laylee.
they've got.
They probably wouldn't have as much significance as the person playing Yooka. I doubt it would be a balanced co-op.
Well, it says underneath that the next amount of money, the 665,000, they've put a 2 to 4 player local multiplayer versus mode. So I don't know how that'd work. I'm imagining you get to choose between one or the other.
Well, if it's further on, like more players, and I'd imagine there'd probably be a counterpart.
Yeah.
Whether it would be like two different animals, like say they could have like Banjo-Kazooie,
Yeah.
like a bear and a bird or something. I don't know. Or maybe it would just be like a palette swap, like you'd have a red chameleon and a green bat.
Or you might
Yellow
get to play as one of the enemies, maybe, or a boss or something.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential for it, and if the game has like other characters in it as NPCs, maybe they could then come back to that.
And
Yeah.
imagine maybe some of the voiced characters, because they can't make them massively massive. So they won't, because they won't have the time to record much with them, surely. But maybe a little bit in the. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
It sounds really mean, but they don't. Even though they've spent that much money, they don't want them voicing the main characters.
Yeah. But they could have them as like bosses and stuff that come back in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think from what I've heard of it, like they won't have a massive role, but they will be there. But they'll be present. So any final thoughts you want to portray?
Other than that, I'm genuinely contemplating whether to get a Wii U or not.
Well, you see, you're saying that, but it is coming to everything. I've just put down 15 quid because I want my console release for it. For 10 quid,
Right.
you get PC.
Oh, right. So.
And 20 quid, you get PC, and you also get an early PC toy box, beta toy box. So you can kind of have a play around with the mechanics beforehand.
Problem solved.
So yeah, it does. They are catering to everything. It's coming to PS4, Xbox One, Wii U, and PC.
Oh, right. So there's.
And they will all be day one. That's one of the things they specified in the stretch goal. Like, it won't just be the PC release first and then the others filter through. All 4 versions will be coming out simultaneously.
Yay.
So there's not going to be angry people.
Yeah. Charlotte, do you have any final thoughts?
I'm just wondering. I want to see how this is going to happen with just the rest of the public, because there's obviously all these people that have supported it and the retro crew behind it, but I want to see how just people on the streets will react to it if they're going to publish it that way.
So just the general gamer.
Yeah, people that haven't like given to the Kickstarter and don't know about it, and they
Yeah.
just see it in the shop. And
Yeah, well, here's how I see the demographic of it. Adults who played these games as a kid.
and kids.
And kids.
Yeah.
Like, I think that will be how it will pan out. Kind of similar to how like Mario and Sonic are today.
Yeah.
You'll either be a diehard Mario fan adult, or you'll be a kid. You won't just be an adult and think, I'll pick up Mario and give it a go.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think Donkey Kong fans will come and pick this up. Banjo-Kazooie fans will come pick this up, but the general adult gamer won't pick it up. But this will be a great way to. I mean, I think it'll be a great game for kids. I'd certainly prefer a kid going to a store and getting this than picking up next Call of Medal of
GTA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really excited for this game, and I think it has a lot of potential. So I think we just have to wait. Might do an update video if anything more comes out and have enough interesting stuff. Maybe.
I mean, it's
so,
not
yeah.
it's not yet due to be out
Yeah,
till October 2016.
yeah, that's it. So it's
That's
going to
not
have a
bad.
long development cycle, which is understandable, and heck, I'll give these guys all the time they need. But yeah, I'm really hyped for it. I'm going to leave a link to the Kickstarter page below, so you can find out all the information you want yourself, and if you want to donate, then it's there. And hey, we really want that orchestra. I mean, seriously, I really want that orchestra.
If you're not doing it for Kickstarter, do it for Mark.
Come on, you
Make
know
his
you
dreams
love me.
come true.
So, yeah.
Yeah. We'll be back next time with Splatoon.
Oh yeah, we should
Yes.
probably do that. A
Yeah.
Splatoon video. Okay, so yeah. Signing off. Please go check out the page. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Yep. Bye.